Well, the old girl done good. Punched out. And what's the counter say here? 1,549 bales, minus probably 30. And some of those were my fault, and some of those were the twine's fault. So not all of them were because the baler was mistying. It missed 3 in a row because when it switched bales, apparently the knot came through and got caught in the knotter, and it lost the twine, and I didn't catch it in time, so it lost 3 bales on that. And then it lost 2 because when you close this door, you got to be real careful to pull the twine down with it. Otherwise, every once in a while, I get wrapped up around this thing, and then you lose both pieces of twine out of there. You know, it did that to me once, which was my fault. But other than that, she's working pretty good. Can't complain for a baler I only gave 350 bucks for, and then basically stuck it right in the field without doing anything to it besides greasing it. But that 4th of July was a long weekend. Left work on Thursday, went right to one of my friend's houses, because he called me. He lives right next to another friend of mine, and I was the friend that owns the John Deere baler I took the video of baling for. Well, this guy lives right next to him, and I was out there. We were working on that 14, or looking over that 14T to try to figure out what was wrong with it, while this first guy was out mowing hay, and he saw me out there, and he knew Nick, different Nick than the guy that owned the 1800. There's 2 Nicks, and this is the other Nick. But Steve saw me out talking to Nick, and he knew he probably ought to get a hold of me, because Nick was probably going to try to have me baling for him, and Steve needed help. So he got a hold of me. I think that was Tuesday of last week. Told me he wanted help baling. Didn't know what day it was going to be dry, because at that point the weather was still looking kind of meh. And then he got a hold of me Wednesday night and told me that we were going to start baling Thursday. So I left work on Thursday, got to Steve's house. We got all the wagons and everything moved down to the field, started baling at 3:30. Put up 660 bale Wednesday, because all he had down was 4 acres at that point. Or, well, all he had down that was ready to bale was 4 acres at that point. So we got all that baled and put up in the barn on Thursday. We didn't get done on Thursday till 9 o'clock, and I didn't leave his house till 10:30. We didn't get done to stacking in the barn till 9:30, and I didn't leave his house till 10:30 because we ate dinner over there. And then I started at 11 o'clock on Friday, or 11 o'clock Friday morning raking, while he went and mowed another field. Friday night, or Friday afternoon, I had this thing over there, and we were running 2 balers, baling what I had raked Friday morning. We got 1,100 bale between the 2 balers that day. Saturday, the balers never even came out of the barn. We spent all afternoon stacking what we had baled up Friday, because Steve had to work that morning. And then on Sunday, I was obviously baling for Nick, and I punched out another 1,000 that day. So yeah, it was a long weekend. I'm sick and tired of seeing hay. baby bale. But anyway, I hate, even if I know I'm gonna use them again, I hate letting balers sit full of hay because that's hard on the chamber. Even if it's dry, that hay is gonna sweat a little bit and it'll rust the bale chamber. Just, I know it won't do it a lot, but it's still just in the back of my mind, it bugs me. So this thing's been sitting for a week. Because after last weekend and then being rained on all week at work, when I got home, I just wanted to freaking sit down and not do nothing. It was not a whole lot of bust ass going on. But I figured it was about time to get this thing cleaned out, greased up, put back in the barn so it's ready to go for next time. But anyway, story time. So, would have been Friday when I was taking this over to Steve's place. That barn we got is right on the main highway. Well, I wouldn't, I guess, even call it a main highway. It's on a highway. And in order to get to Steve's, I would have had to, because the road I come to the barn on comes out like this, and you go about to the highway, then you come about a mile or so down the highway, and then you got the barn, and then I had to cut to the next road over, which is the road Steve lives on. Well, in order to get to that road, I had to go 2 miles back this way, cut over and back, or I could have came up the highway and cut over on the next road. Now I wanted to take the path of least resistance, so I just ran the highway down to the next road that cuts over to the road Steve lived on. Now, I knew that was a little dangerous, being 4th of July weekend. We got all these idiots coming out of Chicago to come out and celebrate in the country. So I was being careful. I had the SMV sign on. Had my headlights on, even though it was broad daylight. Trying to make myself as noticeable as possible. Drove down the highway, didn't have any trouble. Got to the crossroads where I needed to make the turn, and I was making a left, turning across traffic. Now, to set the scene up, the highway's got real wide berms on it, almost wide enough I had the whole tractor and baler off in the berm, which is one of the reasons I felt fairly safe going down the highways, because I can get over so far. Well, the road I was turning on is at the top of a hill. Highway comes up here, and then there's a crossroad. And you can't see what's coming up the other side. Well, I could because I was up on the tractor, but anybody in a car or truck behind me couldn't because they're sitting lower. And regardless of whether there was traffic coming up the other side or not, I was trying to block traffic so they wouldn't try to go around me. And I saw there's people coming up behind me. But there was a big enough hole in traffic, I had time. I got all the way over in the lane to block traffic, so they knew I was turning, probably easily 100 yards before the intersection. Now, there's one guy behind me, understands what's going on. He slows down, gets behind me, but doesn't try to go around. Now, I'm looking ahead. There's 3 cars coming up the hill in the opposite direction. I turn around and look behind me. There's a SUV and a little shitbox car come hauling ass up the road behind me. Behind the guy that's already sitting behind me. Now, he's got his brake lights on and everything. These people have to know I'm stopped and getting ready to turn. And it's not like they snuck right up on me. They could see me coming or they could see that they were coming up on me easily a mile down the road. So it's not like they didn't even have time to slow down and get ready for what was going on. So the logical thing that everybody would think they do is, alright, we're going to stop. And now, these two idiots with 3 cars coming up the other side, me all the way over on the lane, the baler and tractor were on the yellow line, and I had my nose swung around a little bit, so you could tell I was turning, but I was waiting for the traffic to come. These 2 idiots come hauling ass around me. There's a little bit of space in between the first and second car coming up the other side of the hill, but this poor first guy in this little Toyota Corolla is the first one over the hill, sees him, he's bailing off into the ditch in the road on the other side. These 2 cars come flying around, the other 2 cars coming up the hill have to get over on the berm, and I look and see what their license plates say. Sure enough, both cars that come flying around me say Illinois on them, which means they were from Chicago. So, needless to say, there were some hand gestures exchanged, and I'm shaking my head, and the guy in the little Toyota Corolla's got his hand hanging out the window facing backwards, and the guy behind me, I look back, his hands are going up like this, and so, yeah, that was my 4th of July experience. So, I guess if anybody from Chicago ends up watching this video, I got a little message. Either don't be stupid or stay home, because one of these days you're going to kill yourself or get somebody else killed. Because, yes, it's a tractor and it's got no turn signals, but when the tires are not rolling, you can automatically assume it's stopped, and there's no excuse for stupidity. And I'm sure people are going to say, well, why were you driving down the highway anyway? Well, it's a 2-lane that guys run farm equipment up and down all the time, so it's not even like it's an odd thing to see. And it's not like I was running unsafe either, because I had my headlights and my SMV on, so people could see me. And that's not even the first time it's happened on the highway. That's happened to me since I go over to that barn a lot. Naturally, that's where we got the combines and everything. And that's happened to me, and I got a bean field over there at the barn, and that's happened to me 3 times with the combine, 1 time, 3 times with the combine, and 1 time before this on a tractor. And every stinking time it's been somebody with an Illinois license plate. Actually happened to me twice with a tractor. 1 time I was halfway through the turn and some idiot decided to try to go around me. Luckily though, that was just a little Toyota Prius, so if he'd hit me it would have been like poof. When did I do? Hit it. What hit me? And that was on my 19 too, so 2,000 pound car versus 14,000 pound farm tractor. Who's going to win there? Plus, I had the chisel plow hanging on it, so that would have been even worse. For them, not for me. I'd have got paid for it one way or the other. But, yeah. So, guess I'm going to finish getting this thing cleaned up. But figured, it would make a nice story time for that. So I guess if any of you guys know somebody that's kind of like that, you know, spread the word. make sure people know. And I guess the thing that can, I mean, it's not even like people don't know what to do around farm equipment, because I know in driver's ed, when I took it, there was a whole section on being around slow moving vehicles, i.e. farm construction equipment, stuff like that. So there's no excuse for they don't know what the hell's going on either. But and as you can tell, I don't care much for people out of Chicago anyway, because they're the people that come here because they want to live out in the country. So they buy these perfect 40, 80 acre square parcels with farms on them. I mean, most beautiful, flat, uninterrupted farm ground you've ever seen. Not a rock, not a tree, not a stump in them. What's the first thing they do? Put them under conservation. Which, to me, shouldn't even be legal, because the conservation program was meant for marginal and unproductive farmland, not perfectly productive 80 acre squares. So, and now it probably sounds like I'm going on a rant, which I guess I kind of am, but I really dislike stupid people, so. But I guess I better knock this off before I get a little overzealous. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you do, like, rate, and subscribe, or comment, rate, subscribe. You know the drill. So take it easy, guys. Bye.